Hello and welcome, I'm Kasey. Today's flow is going to be mostly on the floor. So there'll be no full standing poses. The most we'll come onto our feet is maybe a lunge and a couple of down dogs at the end. But it doesn't mean that we won't be coming into arm balances or anything like that, and we'll also be trying our compass pose at the end if you feel up to that. So yeah, let's just get started on our backs. I apologise for the waves in the background. Hopefully it sounds nice. The tide is actually coming in, so I need to not take too long. It's just bringing your knees into your chest and just giving them a nice hug. Maybe rocking back and forth just to loosen up your lower back. And then taking your knees to one side and looking in the opposite direction. Maybe even straightening that front leg just to feel that nice deeper stretch on the outside of your upper leg. And then bringing your knees over to the other side. Again, straightening that front leg if that feels comfortable, just to feel the deeper stretch. And coming back to center and either grabbing onto your shins through the inside of your knees, or if you can come into happy baby, grabbing the outsides of your feet, keeping your knees on the outside, and just gently rocking, feeling that nice stretch into your hips. And slowly releasing, coming up to a seated position with your right leg on the floor, taking your left foot over and hugging your left knee in to a Lord of the Fish pose. To the left hand behind you, reaching up through the crown of your head. And we're getting nice and deep into our hips today. And releasing, open to the opposite side. Maybe even taking that right hand down the mat a little bit further and reaching that left arm over the top just to feel that nice stretch down the left side of your body. And coming back up and swinging that left leg around, coming into your pigeon pose. Pulling your chest through. If you can take it a little deeper, feel free to bend that back foot, either opening up to one side and grabbing it either with your right or left hand. And releasing and opening up to the other side. And releasing that back foot down, taking your front foot out to the outside of your mat and coming into a lizard pose, lizard lunge on the right side. You can move into it if that feels good. Just slowly opening your hips. Maybe taking it to the outside of the blade of your foot and pushing your knee away. And rolling over onto your left side, taking your left, dropping your hips to the ground, bending the top leg, grabbing your foot, Just feeling that nice stretch down the front of your thigh. And then switching over and taking your left leg onto the ground and twisting your right foot over and grabbing your right knee with your left hand and coming into Lord of Fish on the opposite side. Reaching up through the crown of your head. And releasing and grabbing hold the opposite way. Maybe taking your left hand down onto the mat a bit further, reaching your right hand over to feel that nice stretch on the right side of your body. And coming back up into pigeon, swing that right leg around to come into pigeon on the left side. Pulling your chest through. If you want to take it further, bending that back foot, back knee, grabbing hold of the foot, and releasing over to the other side. One side might feel more comfortable for you. You can stick to that side if you like. Releasing that foot down and taking your left foot to the outside of your mat into lizard lunge on your left side. Opening up onto the blade of your left foot, if that feels nice, and pushing your knee away. Taking your left foot around, dropping your hips, grabbing that top foot, feeling the nice stretch on the front of your thigh. And rolling forward into up dog or cobra, pulling your chest through and sitting back into down dog. I mean, not down dog, child's pose. Taking one more round of breath here. And coming up and taking your right foot to the outside of your mat back into lizard lunge. Pushing that knee away, if that feels nice for you. Then opening up into skandasana. And that nice stretch on the inside of your left thigh. Now coming back to the front of your mat, hands onto the ground, shoulders width apart underneath your shoulders, and then we're going to drop back into a three-legged dolphin. And then bringing that, coming back up and bring that right knee to elbow, and back down to three-legged dolphin, knee to elbow, one more time back to three-legged dolphin. Next, coming up and stepping that right foot through down into your low lunge. Lifting those hips back into a half split, making sure your right hip is pulling backwards. Coming forward, placing your hands shoulder width apart again, keeping your knee underneath your right upper arm, your head comes to the ground, and coming up into a tripod headstand. And either coming out as safely as you feel comfortable or the same way you came in. So your right knee back to your right elbow, dropping down into child's pose. Take one more breath. And coming up, bringing your right foot to the outside of your mat into lizard lunge. Maybe pushing that right knee away. Then opening up into skandasana. Putting the right toes into the air. And coming to the front of your mat, your hands underneath your shoulders, and dropping back into a three-legged dolphin. Coming out back up, right knee to elbow, and back into a three-legged dolphin. Right knee to elbow, and one more time, and stepping that right foot through into a low lunge. Left foot through into a low lunge. Lifting those hips back into your half split, pulling that left hip back. Then we're going to come into our tripod headstand again. If you don't know how to do headstands and you want to learn, I'll link my free headstand class below. So coming forward now, your left knee is underneath your left armpit. Hands are shoulder distance apart. Your head comes slightly forward. And then we're going to lift up into our headstand. And then coming out the safest way you know how, or you can come out the same way you came in, so your left knee to your left upper arm, and coming down into your child's pose. One more round of breath here. And coming up, bringing your right foot to the outside of your mat into your lizard lunge. If you're able to take it a bit further, hooking that right shoulder underneath your knee. And coming back into your skandasana. Coming forward again. Dropping back into three-legged dolphin. Right knee to elbow and hooking your foot around. You may need to walk your foot around, hooking your foot around your right elbow, lifting that back leg up into your flying lizard. Slowly lowering that back foot, unwinding that front foot into your low lunge and back into your half split. Opening the right hand to the right hip into your evolved half split. And then coming forward, sitting onto your right hip, bending your right knee and reaching over. Feel that nice stretch in the right side of your body. Maybe trying to grab your left foot. Coming back up into a down dog, just to stretch out the backs of your legs. Maybe walking your feet out here. This is the first down dog of the class. And dropping your knees, coming into your child's pose. And one more breath here. And coming up and taking your left foot to the outside of your mat, into lizard lunge. Maybe taking that left shoulder underneath your left knee. Then coming back up into the skandasana. Hands to the front of your mat, dropping back into your three-legged dolphin. Right knee to right elbow, taking, that left foot around the left upper arm, lifting that right foot off the ground into flying lizard, slowly releasing, unhooking that left foot into a low lunge, and lift your hips back into half split. Right hand to the ground, left hand to left hip. Maybe even opens up further into revolved half split. Left hand coming down, sitting onto your left hip and reaching that hand over to your right foot. Feeling that nice stretch in the right side of your body, left side of your body. I'm really mucking up our lefts and rights today. And coming back up into down dog. Really stretching out the backs of those legs. And down into child's pose. And coming up into a seated position, we're going to try our compass pose. So you can either keep your left leg on the ground or your left leg extended. You'll figure out what feels more comfortable for you. So we're going to take our right knee and put it over our right shoulder. Now taking your right hand, placing it beside your right hip, you can grab the outside of your foot, your big toe. If this is as far as you can get, which is usually where I am, that's totally fine. If you want to take it that little bit further, reaching up out the crown of your head, straightening that foot and feeling the nice stretch down the left side of your body. And releasing down. Just maybe rock your knees out a little bit and coming onto the other side. So your right foot leg either down or extended, whatever feels more comfortable for you. Taking your left knee over your left shoulder. Grabbing your left foot either with your big toe on the outside of your left foot with your right hand. Your left hand comes beside your left hip. This is as far as you can take it. That's totally fine. Otherwise, extending as straight as you can, feeling that stretch through the right side of your body. And slowly releasing, just making sure your knees should not hurt in that position at all. Coming down, laying on your back, hugging your knees in and rocking side to side. You may even want to do a little bridge just to lengthen out the front side of your body. Dropping your hips, taking your feet as wide as your mat and letting your knees drop in together. You can either stay here or lower your feet down into Shavasana. And stay here as long as you feel comfortable. Otherwise, slowly rolling onto one side, coming up into a seated position. I really hope you enjoyed today's class, and I'll see you next week. Namaste.